20 years ago on a Bond Street that was a really different Bond Street than it is today. Like, there was nothing there. Crack vials, a couple of guys selling furniture on the corner. This part of town was way different. A young, adventurous couple opened up a restaurant called Il Buco. Started as a furniture store that served lunch, and then wine with lunch, and then turned into a restaurant. It's a great story. 20 years later, that restaurant's still killing it, and around the corner is Il Buco Alimentari, 3 stars, New York Times, on Great Jones. It's an amazing restaurant. Everything's made in-house. All the bread's baked here. All the pastry's done here. Pastas are done here. Salumeire is made here. We're going to bore down, spend the day with Donna Leonard and her big team, many of whom have been with her for 15 to 20 years. Great chef, great kitchen, great food. Il Buco and Il Buco Alimentari. It's going to be a fun day.
I'm Mike Colameco, industry insider. Been in the business my whole life, and I know what it takes to succeed. Each week we'll take you into real kitchens, filmed in real time. Backstage passes to a day in the life of chefs, restaurateurs, and their teams. The competition's fierce. Careers, life savings, and reputations hang in the balance. These are my people, and this is their passion. And that's what's next on Mike Colameco's Real Food.
Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.
Lou's Naturals family of brands offers all-natural, minimally processed meats, free of antibiotics, hormones, and nitrates. From our family to yours.
Imported from Italy, Anna pasta is made from 100% Italian durum wheat semolina and pure spring water, slowly dried to cook al dente. Recipes online at cento.com.
The Bowery, the oldest thoroughfare in Manhattan, has seen its ups and downs, and back in 1994 was inhabited mostly by drunks, addicts, and the down and out. So in the early 90s, this now quaint cobblestone piece of Bond Street just off the Bowery seemed as unlikely a spot to open a restaurant as the North Pole. And what started as an antique shop, opened by a young filmmaker named Donna Leonard and her antique collecting boyfriend Roberto serving antipasti and simple, light lunches, slowly morphed into a full-service Italian restaurant that was better than good. Word got out, critics came, and the crowds soon followed.
So let's go back, because I love New York history. I mean, a lot of New Yorkers arrived 5 minutes ago, figured it was always like this. Talk about what Bond Street looked like in 1994.
Well, there wasn't 40 Bond. It was very industrial, cobblestone street with a lot of crack vials in the morning and a lot of bums running around from the Bowery. No real retail.
Originally, the first Il Buco was going to be something else.
It was an antique store. We opened as an antique store, $2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month for a 10-year lease in 1994.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was a little bump up after 5 years, I think.
Whatever. I mean, that doesn't get you a studio anywhere left in the city that I can measure.
No,
that's crazy.
The antique store was fine, but there wasn't a lot of foot traffic. And the idea was, well, how can we really make a go of it? And if we serve a little snack here, we can really pay the rent and really grow the business. But we quickly invited our landlords to lunch and broached the idea, and they were quite thrilled with what we'd done to the space already, having taken this artist studio and turned it into this very cozy, warm store. So they were very amenable, and
it became a restaurant.
Yeah.
You got those 3 ribeyes working in the big old cast iron.
Yep. So these are sweetbreads.
One of my favorite
That's
working meats.
They sell quite well here in the fall and in the winter.
It's like meat custard. Yeah. It's crispy on the outside. It's like in the inside, so beautiful. So which pasta is this?
This is a tagliatelle with bolognese. So this pasta we make every day, fresh.
Yeah, I saw her making it today.
Yeah.
She was good. She was extruding pastas and then rolling the egg pasta.
Yeah. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is a little scallop crudo. Donna, the owner, loves crudos, so we always have one on the menu. Sometimes we do a special crudo. What we like to do is just kind of do really like an a la minute little dressing for the scallop.
Lime juice for acid.
A little bit of lime juice. I love lime and scallop. A little bit of lemon. And we put the bowl on ice, which kind of helps emulsify the fat and the acid.
Yeah, it's going to want to
Just
get
kind
firm.
of mix that up until it starts to come together. This is a fleur de sel with fennel pollen and a little espelette. And my guy set me up with a little scallop right here. That we'll
Super
just
dry,
slice.
super fresh,
Yeah,
super
nice and
gelatinous.
dry. Really just kind of slicing into little coins.
Toss them, coat them all.
And then our garnish is a little bit of these little Asian pears from the market. Crunch,
Little sweetness.
little sweetness, little acidity. So just kind of lay the scallop out, make sure we get a little dressing on it. Espelette,
Espelette, little kick of heat.
a little bit of trout roe
Why not?
for a little more like that
Crunch and
marine,
fishy
saline. Yeah, a little radish sprouts. We kind of use, just kind of scatter around, make them look like they kind of fell out of off of a tree onto the scallop, and that's our scallop crudo.
Talk about some of the chefs, because you have quite a roster of sort of still big-name New York chefs, and a lot of women that's interesting that came through that kitchen. Talk about who came through Il Buco over the years.
Jody Williams came in, and we had Sarah Jenkins in. Sarah's sous chef was Amanda Freitag.
Oh, I mean, Jody's
yeah.
blown up at Bouvet. Amanda's now got the Chelsea Diner, whatever it's called.
Empire Diner.
The Porcina around the corner from you. I mean, these were all sort of pioneering women chefs in that Italian space.
18 years later, she'd opened Il Buco Alimentari, a block north in a grand space that had been Great Jones Lumber Supply. This raw space was both a challenge and a rare opportunity, an open canvas allowing Donna and her team to build a state-of-the-art dream kitchen in the basement, where they now bake all their own breads and pastries, cure all their own meats and salumi, while upstairs in the front of the store, they sell the same great fresh-baked breads, pastry, focaccia, and salumi in these antique wooden shelves in the Alimentaria space, stocked with extremely well-curated selections of Italian specialty foods, courtesy of Roberto, who spends most of his time in Umbria.
Pass me quail, I played it on the pass.
Oh yeah, did I mention the reason we're here is the restaurant and the great food they put out on a daily basis.
That's a seared gnocchi with artichokes and chanterelles. You get a glaze of reduced pasito, mirin, soy, Aleppo, and licorice.
It's a piece of fish that they used to throw away, basically. It's funny. It's that what's off the jawbone.
Yeah, hamachi color.
We're here with Victoria, who's the chef of Cuisine. So day to day,
Yes.
you're like, this is your baby.
Yes,
This
my
beautiful
baby.
kitchen,
Yes,
open to the dining room,
sort of, yes.
currently carrying 3 stars from the New York Times, full every night, great crowd. Congratulations.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations. That's all
Okay.
great news. What's the dish you're going to make tonight? Because this is something you guys kind of just like came up with today.
Yes, we were talking with Joe about changing the octopus in the dinner menu. So we were thinking about sepia.
Hey,
With sepia, marinade to plate like kind of like a green curry, but we don't want to say that because it's an Italian restaurant. But anyway.
all right, go ahead. You got a mortar and pestle here. You got a bunch of ingredients. Have your way
Basically,
with
we
them.
start with the roots of the coriander. I call it coriander, no, you guys call it cilantro. We use the herb
never
as
saw
well.
this.
Yeah. So we start mortar and pestle.
Smells like coriander.
Yeah. We
Not
start,
surprisingly.
we start mortar and pestle the root. We put a little bit of Malden just to get it going.
A little texture will help grind that stuff up.
And then we have some dehydrated parsley and coriander and lemon skin. Some of the fried capers that we have as well.
Okay.
And
More pounding.
yep. So we go like this.
So like a preserved lemon?
Yep,
Those
preserved Meyer lemon.
Salt like Moroccan style.
Yep, Moroccan style.
Salted.
So we'll add like half of one, a quarter. We take the seeds out, and then
It's
just
easy to
carefully.
smash that bad boy. Yeah, it's almost puree to begin with.
Olive oil, Lebanese, dry mint.
Lebanese
Well, it's
mint.
stronger. It's almost like a spearmint.
So much mint in the world. There's like Greek mint, Lebanese
Yeah.
mint.
And then we end up with this.
That's the ending result.
Yeah. To this, we add on a little bit of chili jam that we make here.
We're gonna head that away?
Yep.
Let's go that away.
So this
Sepia.
is a sepia, and then being marinated for a day.
And that
Then
mashup you just
yeah,
had.
that you guys saw.
Always. Little salt, little oil, because it loses it while it cooks.
So now we're using a different purveyor of olives. Some of them are Spanish, and this one is really tasty, very meaty.
It's the marinade that you pound up.
Yeah, lemon, olive oil. And orange actually, it balances the acidity, so it's a little sweet. It goes really well with seafood. These are like part segments of the pomelo. We can actually show you the whole fruit too, if you want to take a look at it. You'll place just the sepia right on top. You use some of that dressing. So we use the root of the herb, of the Delfino cilantro, and that would also be your garnish.
There's pomelo, olive. All right. Now I need sepia. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Now we got everything.
That's your full bite.
Including the herb. We have the entire dish here.
You can tell why I'm not front of the house, right?
She's front of the, we can tell why none of us are front of the house.
Why I'm not
So I've got the shallot and everything that she worked so hard.
It's not, it's
You know
not
what?
worth it.
It's sick. It's great. So the place is done so well a block away. So yeah, I mean, I asked you this question when we talked before. Running one successful restaurant is usually enough for most people. It does well, you've got the model figured out, you know the plumbing, you know the grease traps, you know the deal, everything kind of works, the staff I mean, it's a lot of moving parts, but you have it nailed. What made you want to open this around the corner? Because you had to build this space out.
I think a one-child family for 17 years was really like having just one restaurant. I was very happy with that. I think in the middle I had a child, and you know, there wasn't a great desire unless it was going to be something fun and interesting.
Define the word for the people watching. What the word alimentari means, what translated?
It's a market.
Kind of a very European feel. And the back room is a full-on restaurant.
Yes, you know, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning when we're serving, you know, coffees and bomboloni and beautiful pastries from Kamel and Glaucian. It really feels like a market, and the salumi counter is open, and we make our own in-house salumi.
Which is the big, so the great thing was you got 2,700 square feet, third floor, second floor, ground floor, and then the basement, which is now allowing you to do all the salumi you get in-house, all the baking you get in-house, all the pastry again, for both restaurants under one roof.
Exactly.
I mean, it's amazing.
So it's really the production hub.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the classic apple crostata. We have the fruit, she roll it, and then this is how you pretty much put it together. So you put apples here, and then you fold in.
What kind of dough is it? Pâte brisée, pâte sablée?
Pâte brisée.
Pâte brisée.
Yes, correct. Here we have our crostata. This is before, and then we have the final. We have all the crostatas daily baked in the house.
Yeah. Little individual, beautiful apple pies.
Individual with gelato or takeout.
And these apples come from the market still this time of year.
Correct.
Keep up the great work. You're making a lot of people happy.
Try.
Sortegan. Sortegan, Menzan 3.
Down here with Kamel.
How you doing?
You look like you stay in shape. What do you do?
I'm doing pizza.
He's not doing pizza, he's doing something else. Actually, he's a mixed martial artist masquerading as the bread guy.
baker.
But the good news is this is a great job. So how long have you been doing the baking here?
15 years.
Wow.
Yes, I started when I was 20, early 20. I'm almost 36.
Doesn't put you in chokeholds.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. You don't have to bound them. So what do we have here? Obviously a pizza.
So we have a pizza. So we have 3 kinds of pizza we do for the alimentary. One is tomatoes mozzarella, is basilic. One is tomatoes, based tomatoes, onion, raw onion, black olives, mozzarella, oregano, and the last one is olive oil, mushroom, onion, and stracciatella on top.
How many breads are you doing a day here?
Between 500 and 700 a day.
Loaves?
Yes.
All day long?
All day long.
Plus pizza?
Plus pizza, a breakfast item, and we make all the bread for the sandwich and from the kitchen.
It's the starter.
I'm using my levain that I have for 15 years. You can smell it. It's like a wine culture.
It's incredible.
Yes.
Right, almost
Yes.
like a wine culture.
Yeah. I use this, and I use a fermented dough.
I mean, I picked up this loaf.
If I take
pick up this loaf, and I'm thinking this is going to weigh 7-8 ounces, maybe a little more.
So if I open it inside, this is what you get.
That's insane. Look at that crumb. Still warm.
Good bread is good for you, huh? Bad bread is very bad for you.
Look at that crumb, huh? That's just magical.
We have the all wheat bread. We have the baguette made with all wheat flour and white flour. We have the 6 cereal bread made with oats, sesame, linen, millet, flaxseed, sunflower, and crackwood. We have a beautiful lentils bread. So I had the lentils from Umbria. We cook it like al dente, and we add it to the bread. So it's an all wheat bread, base all wheat bread, lentil inside. Up. We put stracciatella now and put it back in the oven for 2 minutes. And we go upstairs, we get to put prosciutto on top. Beautiful machine, huh? Look at this.
The Burkle, right?
Yeah.
God, it smells so good. Where did you learn yourself the art of making salumi?
I learned really in a couple of places. One was when I started at Chez Panisse. This was back in the 1980s. And we weren't able at that time to get a good prosciutto on the bone or with the bone still in, imported from Italy. We were pretty frustrated with that. And so I said, as you know, Americans do, let's make one. So here we have a selection of products. These are picantes. Back here I can see we have Toscano. Most salumi lose about 35% of their weight. We like to say, I like to say, to the angels.
Yeah, like
Just
like alcohol.
Like
Angel
alcohol.
share.
Yeah, it's all evaporation.
Right.
With this box, as you did for so many centuries in a cave or a barn, you control that a little bit. You let it happen at a certain rate.
What's going on in here?
Okay, so this is our cooler, and this is where we receive the fresh pork into. This is a super cold room. All of these are porchettas that we make from the loins.
The loin, yep.
Specialty of Umbria and Tuscany. And then we make also, these are nice, these are coppa di testa, which are made from all the parts of the head, the snout, the ears, the jowls, and so forth. People are a little bit scared of head cheese.
Oh, I used to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, chefs love this stuff.
Chefs, this is a chef sausage. That's really funny you say that. That's very true. But you can see, you get some of the jowl, you get some of the ear, you get some of, this is the tongue. We don't get brains, they don't let you send brains anymore, but in the old days you would have brains in it. All the different pieces from the head. So it's a remarkable thing. There's the center cut.
Cornichon, little mustard.
Little mustard, little cornichon, you're home.
Crusty piece of bread.
And these are the smallest salamis. They're called cacciatorini. And the story is that it fits in the pocket of the hunter next to the little piece of bread that she takes up in the mountain and so on and so on.
That's the story.
That's the story. But we haven't seen any hunters recently, but people are buying
Oh, I
them.
did. I saw a couple of guys from Brooklyn walking down the street. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They got the flannel and the
They
beards
got
and
the
the
whole deal,
boots,
right?
dude.
The beard, right?
Yeah, they're hunters, right?
That's right.
Bushwick hunters.
Yeah, there you go. But these are delicious little salami. Garlic, a little white wine, a little black pepper, and a little nutmeg, and that's it. And it's delicious.
Thanks so much.
It's a simple grind, it's a simple flavoring. It cures in about 3 weeks. We make a lot of them, and we sell a lot of them. People aren't scared of them. And by that I mean they're not big and frightening. You can buy one.
Delicious.
It's really good. I think it's a terrific sausage.
And if I have these at home, I need to keep them refrigerated.
You don't need to keep them.
You don't actually,
and this is an interesting question
So
for me.
It always is the question.
It is. You keep them cool. If you have a cool spot, if you have a cellar, if you have even a closet, cupboard. But if you can avoid refrigerating them, do.
Right.
People come in all the time and they say, how long will this last? When will it go bad? They don't go bad.
They don't.
That's the idea.
Right.
They predated refrigeration, so they don't really go bad. They decrease in quality, but they don't really go bad. So this is a Toscano. I'm going to cut it arbitrarily in the center, because then we can sell it also a little bit. But
wow,
look at that. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful, man.
Isn't it?
I think so.
Oh my goodness. So that's it. Again, simple. You're after the flavor of the pork. That's the goal.
What's the guy with the bay leaves and rosemary?
This is the lardo, which is off of the back and shoulder. This one's from the shoulder, it looks like. He needs a little bit of a shave. So this is how big and fat these pigs are, and they're beautiful. It's really firm, it's hard. Again, that's what the salami maker wants. Firm flesh, dry, hard fat. Okay, so
thank you.
You
Keep up the great work.
Stop me, or I'll keep going.
So you make these blood sausage in-house?
Make them in-house.
Like
it's
everything
kind
else
of a hybrid of maybe 3 or 4 different cultures of blood sausage. This we use blood, some ground meat, some diced blanched lardo. So these are fully cooked, and we just kind of sear them in a pan of olive oil and butter. And then the rest of the plate is pretty simple. We just do a little bit of peeled roasted apples that we roast in a cast iron with butter.
Classic blood sausage with apples, with pomme puree.
Yep. A little bit of frisée, a caramelized shallot, cherry, grain mustard, vinaigrette. Let's go. So this is a little 25-year-old.
Sherry vinegar.
Yep, made with Pedro Jimenez grapes and a little bit of smoked salt. Just kind of sprinkled on top.
Yum, chef. Killer. Such nice food. Stay there.
We're going to make bomboloni.
Right. Almost like a donut dough.
It's kind of donuts. Sometimes my donuts is 4 days fermentation.
Seriously.
Minimum 24 hours, maximum.
For flavor.
For flavor.
Yeah.
And the fluffiness is very light because of this. People, they told me, oh, when I eat the donuts, I don't feel heavy because of the fermentation. Very, very long fermentation. Some salt and some yeast.
24 hours later, this is what I have.
Exactly.
Yum.
So now we have the bomboloni ready to eat, and you can tell inside.
Got to do this. Quality control. You never know. Could be too salty.
Exactly.
Could be no sugar. Could be a mistake. You never know.
How is it?
Perfect. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here with Roberto, who wears a whole lot of hats. Now these days, you're the wine director for the corporation, for both the restaurants.
I took over a list that was about 60 wines. In a span of a few years became 300, 400, now it's 600. We have been leading a restaurant in the farm to table. And I try to propose the same in the world of the wines. That means that I will never buy wines from estates I wouldn't know the winemaker, or I wouldn't know if the bottles were somehow tainted with other factors but the wine itself. So like looking for authenticity most of the times. For me, as long as the wines in the bottle are what they declare, you know, if Nebbiolo is Nebbiolo, Sagrantino is Sagrantino, and not Cabernet, not Merlot, and if the style is somehow you know, respecting the history and the territory, then I like to represent diversity.
Thank you, Roberto. Makes total sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sagrantino. Look for it.
20 years in, Il Buco really existed because the products were great, the food was great, the service was great, the neighborhood got it, the community supported it. You had been reviewed once at that restaurant 20 years ago, 1-star review, Ruth Reichel. And it loved the food, service was an issue that night, or one of the nights, whatever. You open this, and then I open up the New York Times 6 months later, 3 stars.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Shocking.
Not that you don't deserve it, but that they nailed it.
Well, I think, you know, every once in a while, the stars align. You know, I think that 3-star review meant so much to me because of the 1-star from Ruth, you know, 20 years ago. And
you still remember how that review began?
Oh, yeah.
Give it to me. First 2 sentences.
I don't care. My waiter didn't say that, his body language did or something. But you know, maybe that's the best blessing possible.
It is.
Il Buco is just Il Buco,
and does really well and sells out. And it's busy
been,
and
yeah,
people love
super wonderful. And honestly, my dream for Il Buco in the early days was one day we'll have a 3-star review for a rustic restaurant with no tablecloths. That's just doing the food that's right.
Thanks so much for letting us in, and great story.
Nice to have you here.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
20 more great years, is that pushing it? Is that too hard to think about?
I don't know. Talk to my son.
Mike Colameco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.
Lou's Naturals family of brands offers all natural, minimally processed meats, free of antibiotics, hormones, and nitrates. From our family to yours.
Imported from Italy, Anapasta is made from 100% Italian durum wheat semolina and pure spring water, slowly dried to cook al dente. Recipes online at cento.com.